I consider myself one of the best Ultra Instinct users in Dragon Ball Legends. I simply understand all the ins and outs, and I was requested to drop a guide on the best way to utilize Ultra Instinct in Dragon Ball Legends, considering for the 7th anniversary they have dropped the new MUI Goku. I'm gonna explain my full mindset and the best approach to take when using any Ultra Instinct unit in the game. Currently we have 5, one for every element: the purple sign, the red mastered, Rev sign who's green, Ultra UI who's yellow, and now the blue one who transforms into mastered form. Every Ultra Instinct unit has few mechanics that are slightly different than the other, but in this video we'll focus on the new blue one, as everything you can learn from this character will transfer to the other ones, with a few exceptions. But question for you guys in the comment section: what Ultra Instinct unit in Dragon Ball Legends is your favorite? Me personally, I'm going for Ultra UI, but maybe that might change in a few days as I get more used to using this new one. Let's get into this. Now, before I go into giving you any details, the first thing you need to do is unlearn vanish stepping and learn how to float. Floating is very integral to master Ultra Instinct in Dragon Ball Legends. If you want to practice this, you can go into the summon tab, then go to the featured characters tab, and at the bottom right it says try. You can load into Ultra Instinct Goku even if you don't have him, and you can do this for characters you don't have, so it's nice. And you just need to learn this pattern. It's literally going to change your life. Learn floating like this. Do not sidestep. You have a whole gauge to dodge. There's only few exceptions you need to sidestep. For example, a blue card's coming your way, a ultimate arts is coming your way, a green card that's a grab or a beam, rising rush. Those are the only cases you have to vanish, and there's usually a sound or a time frame where you're able to vanish even if you do it late. Of course, if you're panic swiping, you have more of a chance of getting caught. My gauge is down now, but I'll be able to run it back up for a green card. But generally, learning the floating pattern, consistently being able to do this, is going to be integral in the procedure of this video. So yeah, that's the first thing I've got to tell you. Unlearn vanish stepping and learn how to float. Even if you're not using an Ultra Instinct unit, floating is integral. Now, before we go any further, I need to seriously explain MUI Goku's kit, because you need to understand you're really safe when using this unit, especially in comparison to other Ultra Instinct units in Dragon Ball Legends. This guy provides you so much comfort because it's almost like his gauge is always full, and I'll explain every single point in his kit where he's able to obtain gauge if he doesn't already have it. So let's go into the pre-transform first. These are all the points he fills his gauge. So he's able to transform into MUI, and when he does that, he will get 70% increase to his gauge. Another opportunity he's able to fill his gauge is on entry. So if his gauge is running down, you switch out, it'll fill slowly on standby, but he'll get another 30% immediately coming in. So if you have someone that can manipulate time accounts, on entry he will immediately get 30 because he'll be back in earlier than later, but his gauge wouldn't have been as filled, so they just slapped in a 30% to guarantee that it's higher, so at least you can dodge once. He also gets 50% on his green card. Just pressing the green card is immediately going to give you 50%. So with this, what I advise you do is not use the green card unless your gauge is empty. I don't care if it gives you a card, prioritize the gauge, as dodging will pay off in the long run. Now we're heading into the post transform, and there's a lot more here. So he gets 100% to his gauge fill off the main ability. That is crazy in itself. If you immediately emptied your gauge because the enemy pressed you, you can just press the main ability and it's going to fill up completely. Again, on entry he's going to get another 30%, which is nice to the unique gauge. If a battle member dies, he's going to get 70%. Now how I advise you utilize this: if one of your allies are getting hit, let them stay alive at low HP, and then when you're able to switch back into UI again, you utilize his gauge to the maximum, let it run down. Let's say you get caught on accident or you need to sack somebody off, that person who was at low gauge, let them die. When your ally dies, because they were low health, you wouldn't have wasted the time it would have took to fill up. You would immediately get 70% back in, which is very useful. This factor is affected by the order that you selected your battle units. So 1, 2, 3, you know, when you're starting a battle, the unit that you think is going to die more time than not, you should select them first, and right after that you should select Ultra Instinct Goku, so that when that unit dies, Ultra Instinct Goku, even if you just switched out, he'll be the next one to come back in. If you're on the battlefield and the enemy switches, you will also get 30% gauge. So you're not even doing anything there. The enemy just switched and now your gauge is going up again. And the last case, which is actually very clutch, you get 50% gauge fill if you just press the blue card. You don't even have to land it. Just pressing the blue card is going to make a big difference. So what I like to do is I like to vanish. I try to time the blue card to get them because you know they're in the strike cards animation waiting to vanish. And as long as they don't perfect vanish me, I will be fine. Given that there isn't a rising rush, a blue card or ultimate coming after the fact. If it's an arts card like the few I mentioned, you can still get a tap attack off, which is nice, but you will have the gauge filled to dodge regular strikes and blasts, which is obviously impactful to the battle. Now it's very hard to teach this because it's a factor of game sense, but I need you guys to value every drop of that gauge. There's a lot of ways you can do this, so you need to be very efficient at every moment on the battlefield. For example, when you're floating left and right, you need to make sure that you're not letting your gauge get drained by tap shots, tap attacks, and quick attacks. These attacks here don't cost anything from the enemy. So if the enemy is going to drain your gauge, you need to make sure they do it at a cost. Get your payoff for it. So let them lose a bit of key and a card in their deck at least. If they come to you for a quick attack, time a tap attack so you can clash with them. If they try to do taps and you see them come up, tap the screen. If they do a tackle, I wouldn't recommend hitting a strike card because they're trying to get you to get that vanish so they can catch you after the fact. In that case, you might want to either let them or vanish. But be careful because there are big attacks after. Obviously, situations would vary, but that's why I says it's hard to teach this because it's a game sense. You need to learn to make the best decision at each moment. Your gauge is very valuable, and even though this unit gives you comfort, making it easy to fill, it's still not the easiest to fill. Especially when you need it most, you need to be the most composed, as every single drop matters. If I was to elaborate on being efficient with the gauge and making every drop valuable, you need to think about all the ways he can fill his gauge and not activate those means until your gauge is actually empty. For example, if you have a green card in your deck, why would you press the green card if your gauge is full? Wait till it runs down, then press the green card. And if you waited as well, you might be able to better utilize that green card with one of your other allies. We've also got post transform, he gets it on the blue card. You don't need to rush out the blue card at the start of the combo because you're going to get gauge from that. So if you're filling the gauge when it's already filled, you don't get 150%. The max it can be is 100%. So you're basically letting that gauge fill go to waste, and you don't know when you're next going to get a blue card based on the card draws that you have. I mentioned it earlier with letting your ally die at a certain time. Run down their health, but don't let them die straight away. Switch back into UI and then switch back out. If things don't go well, they'll immediately die, and when UI comes back in, his gauge is immediately full. 70%. That's a big number. And the easiest one to utilize, if your gauge empties, just press the main ability. But something I do want to add is, when he presses the main ability, he also gets 100% to his vanishing gauge. So something I try to push is a priority order. Once your gauge empties, your next priority should be vanish stepping. And then after you vanish step, you will have no options now. You've got no vanish and you've got no gauge. The two things that will keeping you alive when you're standing still. After you lose your vanish, you can restore both of those with the main ability. So you might want to consider not just pressing the main ability to fill your unique gauge, because you want to be efficient with everything you can get out of this unit. The third and final chapter of being efficient, especially post transform, do not let tap shots, quick attacks and tackles go through. If those go through, you're draining your gauge for no reason when there's a bigger payoff when getting hit with art cards post transform. If they hit you with a strike or a blast, he's gonna emit damage after that happens, and that will take out a lot of their health, which can allow you to get them out faster, especially because you're most likely going to be fighting MUI Goku or SSBE Vegeta. These guys don't cancel buffs, so you'll be able to hit a blue card that will one-shot them, given that they're most likely going to be at least 70% HP, no longer 100% HP. They might be even lower than that, and a blue card will take them out from that amount of health. Maybe not 100%, but 70% and lower, you have a higher odds of one-shotting them with a blue card. This is also something that's difficult to teach, but it's something that you need to actively practice in game. Using Ultra Instinct isn't about being 100% passive. If I had to put a number on it, I would say it's 70% passive play, 30% aggressive play. If you play 100% passive, yes, you'll be dodging everything, but then you'd be limiting your opportunity to get the upper hand on the battle. You don't win a PvP game by dodging the whole game. You need to attack sometimes, and because of that, switching up your playstyle throughout the game consistently will throw off your enemy. If you play passive at the start of the game, a lot of enemies get very impatient when fighting any Ultra Instinct unit, and that's because you're consistently floating at the back and you're not doing anything. But if you switch up all of a sudden, they're not gonna expect that. Now that also doesn't mean you keep keep attacking, because then the enemy will know you're not consistently using Ultra Instinct. In the same way that if you were to consistently sidestep, which is why I immediately told you to unlearn vanish stepping, they will also know you don't know what you're doing, and it gives them more opportunity to catch you. So you need to understand that it's not about being 100% passive, 70% at the max, and you need to flip between being passive and aggressive. But of course that comes at a risk, just like any other battle. Unless you plan to take the game to 180 timer counts, which would mean every game you're playing is going to be at least 7 minutes, you need to switch it up. But understand that it's mental warfare. So I slightly explained it before. Be passive at the start of the game, then catch them off guard when they get impatient, and you'll be able to tell when your enemy gets impatient. Again, that's part of the game sense. You read your enemy based on how they're attacking you. They might start throwing out cards just for the sake of it. But this factor is very important if you want to excel your game when using Ultra Instinct Goku. Now I've saved this for last, and I class this as a secret weapon. You shouldn't have this at the front of your mind. You should have this in mind, but not as a priority. Here's green card. Specifically post-transform. If you're familiar with Ultra Vegito Blue, when you press this green card, any tap shots, tackles, quick attacks, dry cards, and blast art will all get countered, and you spawn a blue card. Even though it's only the first time, you'll be able to immediately chain it. With Ultra Vegito Blue, you could also chain it with ultimates, but MUI doesn't have an ultimate. The reason why I say this shouldn't be at the front of your mind, because he only gets a blue card the first time. So in every other opportunity that he has a green card, he will be able to counter, but he won't be able to chain it with anything. And because of that, past the first time is not as useful. It applies no switching, but you can only get the most out of it if you have a blue card in hand, and you only get that the first time, which is why I say you shouldn't have it at the front of your mind, but you should still have it in mind. It's genuinely very powerful, but if you can't utilize it because you don't have anything to chain, then it's pretty much not the most useful thing. But in the opportunity you do have a blue card, so the first time, and if you save a blue card in your deck, you'll be able to completely utilize the green card. That's why I push it more of a secret weapon. What I like to do sometimes is save my transformation for when I see them do a blast art, transform the minute they do a blast art, then do a green card because I know it's gonna come through, and then I would hit the blue card, which is gonna apply no switching, and I can nullify the endurance very easily. It's all about putting yourself in the best situation when using Ultra Instinct. Alright, so for this I have to put in some gameplay, and I've decided to use this Beast Gohan Ultra UI MUI Goku team. The idea is to have Beast Gohan cut through people's endurance, survivability of whatever form. We've got UI dodging and MUI who's also dodging. I'll be able to flip out combos with UUI, also snipe, but also I have to use MUI effectively. It should be fine going in with just these three. I've been using them and the team's been working great. Alright, let's get into this, man. This should be fun.
You're going down, no matter what.
Is he gonna cover change? Okay, that was horrible play from him. He should have cover changed. He must have forgot. Well, Go Freeze is dead. That makes it easier for us to go around. Fighting MUI and God Goku makes it difficult in the first place, you know. Wow.
This is a new power.
Okay, let's try again. All right, we got God Goku back and Go Freezer back. A lot of people have been using Go Freezer, very valuable asset, not to be slept on in the slightest. And let's go.
Come on. Leave it to me.
Interesting choice to bring first form Freezer. At least it definitely does feel it. I don't need the ult. I looked at the damage I was doing. I can save the ult for my gauge. Okay, it's gone. We're back.
Oh, no, you
I want to switch to MUI, but it's really an inefficient switch because God Goku is just going to take every single hit. So what I'm going to do at the end of this combo, I'm going to switch into him so I can run down the gauge. Keep UUI on standby because he's going to be able to flip out, you know?
You're mine.
I'm going to go for a Vanish first since I have it. Whoa, that's a green card. Alright, it's not safe.
I'll take care of the rest. You. Brace yourself.
He thinks I'm gonna sidestep. I'm not though. Kind of want my main ability right now. Oh, this is not safe. Only because he could hit me with a green or blue. I'm gonna go for tap. There you go.
Leave it to me.
Looking for a safe play. I want the safest play. That's a safe play. It's tricky. It's tricky to deal with. Alright, trying to end this off, man. Let's get it. Alright, let's get it.
I'll take care of the rest.
Gonna make him know that I'm patient.
What's wrong?
Ooh, what's the situation here? There we go. I knew it.
Leave it to me. You. Let me test this power out.
Okay. Okay, now I know what he's on. So he's gonna play super passive based on the fact that I'm playing super passive, so I'm gonna be aggressive.
I'll take care of the rest.
He's coming aggressive now. I guess I'm not the only one that can change pace. I'm gonna actually take out his gauge. He can, you know, he can do what he needs to do.
Is that all you got? Leave it to me.
I really can't tell what decision he's going to make at certain points. He's been switching up at the same speed as me, so he doesn't have a consistent pattern. Let's blue card here, man. Why not? Combo break. Of course he rushes me. Poor beast, man. Poor beast. Well, he's not part of the team for the showcase, you know. He's just an additional. He's an extra for this video. But what a shame. I can still mix them up with just 2 units, and they're both UI units.
I'll take care of the rest.
The aim of the video. Easy standstill. Ooh, I was gonna strike there, but I didn't.
What's wrong? Leave it.
Tap.
What's wrong?
Wasn't expecting that, was you? Nice. Kinda wanted to save this till I could get Turler's low, but
the real fight starts now.
we gotta take advantage of this.
Here goes.
You're not making it through that.
Not bad, but
Alright. He's already rushed, so that's cool.
this. Saw that coming. I'm going all out.
Saw that. He was gonna hit a blast dart. I knew it. I knew it. Calm little floats. Calm little floats. We gotta keep it composed. 2 left. Come on. You're not gonna switch. Nice. Oh. Bad switch, by the way. Because he's got special beam cannon. Like, horrible switch. But he's gonna have to get off. And now I have Ultra UI.
Leave it to me.
Eesh. I invested in my future. Remember at the start of the game, I ultimated him. Now I'm using UI again, investing in my future. Some of you guys probably thought, why would he do that?
This fight is over before it started.
That's going to make the end of the video. I was able to succeed in those games because I was utilizing my gauge to its maximum potential. In all of those situations, I wouldn't have been able to dodge as efficiently if I wasn't holding my green cards longer, holding my transformations, not really worrying about my health too much, but also being more concerned about my gauge being there so that I can dodge attacks and think about my moves more carefully. Really and truly, it's a very safe way to play, and it doesn't mean you're not going to lose games, but if you can be consistent in it, I'm pretty sure your win rate will increase. As you guys have seen in this video, I was really trying to showcase things more than ever, so I wasn't playing in my normal state, but at the same time, it works either way. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you haven't already, make sure to press the subscribe button on this grind to 200,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys for watching, man. My name is Zakashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man.